I call this meeting of the North Adams City Council to order for October 11th, 2022. This meeting is being recorded. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Blackmer.
Here.
Barbo.
Here.
Bona.
Here.
Harpin.
Here.
Obasahan.
Here.
Oleskowitz.
Here.
Sapienza.
Here.
Shade.
Here.
Wilkinson.
Here.
9 present, we have a quorum. Please rise for a moment of silent remembrance. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we, anyone wishing to approach the council on an agenda item, please approach the mic. You have 2 minutes and no personal attacks. And your name and address for the record. On an agenda item.
I'd like to speak on 12, 172, 73, 74, 75, National Grid, locating poles. Well, at one time, they used to go to the abutters and let them know what was going on, because sometimes they put an extra pole onto somebody's lawn. And what they got around the city, and I notice they want to replace a pole. They don't replace it. They put a new one next to it, and there's 2 poles all over the city. And I don't think that's very accommodating, or it just isn't right. You know what I mean? You got that extra pole there. And I think they ought to clarify what they're doing with their poles and let the council know that they're not going to put 2 poles or a brace or a cable onto somebody's lawn without their permission. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council on an agenda item? Actually, there's a public hearing for the polls, and that's when you would speak on those issues, if that's what you're here to speak about. Mr. Smith, are you looking at another agenda item?
Yes, I am. I'm Robert Smith. I live at 163 North Street. I want to speak on item number 12.174, recognition of law enforcement in our city. And this is dear to my heart because they keep us safe. They keep the city running in a good direction. Chief Wood is doing a good job with his staff. I can't say enough about, every time I see them riding by in their police vehicle, I'll always wave to them. If I see them in person on foot, like at some of the events we have down on Main Street, I'll always approach them and thank them for their service. They're a very important bunch of people in our city, and I really appreciate that they're here, and I thank them for their service again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Closing hearing of visitors. I am declaring the public hearing open regarding a petition granting National Grid permission to erect and maintain a pole and wire on State Road. So if you would like to speak to the issue now, you can approach the...
Hello, my name is Michael Tatro. I represent National Grid.
Thank you.
966 State Road. The homeowner redid their service, so we're going to take that opportunity to replace the service pole in their front yard, which was too far off the road for our trucks to reach. So I drew it up to put it on the town take, and that's why we want to put a new pole there. So we have to have permission to put a poles, whether it's on private property or town property. And that's a big part of my job. I get permission from the landowners or the towns to put any, a pole, a guy wire, we have to do that. And we always do that. And we won't put a pole on someone's property if they don't want that. The double poles, that's a whole nother story.
Could you speak into the mic? The mic is for the people at home, not for here. And you're addressing people, not individuals.
Right.
Thank you.
So yeah, now I'm talking to this gentleman about his issue with the poles. It's separate from 966 State Road. So the double poles, for several years now, I think it's about 4 years, National Grid, the electric company, installs the poles, Verizon removes the poles. And so all those places where you see two poles side by side, we install the pole, and you can see all the electrical wires are transferred to the new pole, and then we cut this old pole, it's cut off at the telephone wires and the cable wires, and then they have to transfer their conductors over to the new pole, and then they remove the pole. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen on a timely basis all the time, but that has nothing to do with National Grid.
Okay, so anyone wish to address the council in the open hearing regarding granting the pole for State Road? Okay, then we will move on to the second, a petition granting National Grid permission to erect and maintain a pole and wires on Lincoln Street. If you could give a description of that.
So Lincoln Street over next to the Big Y, they're going to put a new car charger there. So we have to replace an existing pole, and we're going to put a heavy-duty handhold in the sidewalk. We already have permission for that pole, but we need permission for that. It's basically a junction box, because we're going to run primary from that pole underground over to the southeast corner of the parking lot, and that's where their transformer for the new charger will go. So we're just seeking permission to put that heavy-duty handhold in the sidewalk next to the pole on Lincoln Street.
Thank you. Anyone wish to address make a comment in the public hearing on the pole that's going in on Lincoln Street? Councilor Shade?
Yes, through the chair, to our friend from National Grid. For the new equipment near Big Y, will that impede the sidewalk for people to be able to walk or get through there? Or is it going to be pushed far enough back where it won't
Oh,
cause
it's
any?
going to be under the surface. It'll be surface mount. So
So it shouldn't block anything?
just when they're doing the construction.
Perfect.
Definitely won't block anything.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Sapienza?
Yeah, through the chair to Mr. Tatro. Will either one of these operations, will that cause any loss of service temporarily or any long-term loss of service or anything like that to either of the customers or nearby businesses or residents?
Well, the home on 966 will have a short, when they swap over the service, but that'll just be, momentarily.
Right.
And no, the car charger on Lincoln Street, matter of fact, that's why we're going a pole further than the next pole closer to their ideal location that's one of our primary risers to feed the downtown area, so we're purposely going away from that so we don't have any interruption to the downtown area.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Without any further public comment, I'm going to close the public hearing, or I'll move to close the public hearing, so a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, we have to do a roll call vote. Go ahead.
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
Yes.
Obasahan,
Yes.
Oleskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza.
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
Blackmer.
Yes. 9 yeas, motion carries. And new business, and council paper 12,000 174, an order granting National Grid permission to erect and maintain a pole and wire on State Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
yes,
Obasahan,
Yes.
Oleskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
and Blackmer.
Yes. Okay, are these papers dated?
No, they're not, they're marked on here, right?
Did I say 75 or
You said
74?
74.
I did say 74, okay. Council Paper 12,175, an order granting National Grid permission to erect and maintain a pole and wires on Lincoln Street.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Counselor Sapienza, Counselor Shade. Any discussion on this one? Counselor Shade.
Just a point of order, on our papers, we have 172 and 173. You said 175.
It
you
was
just
supposed to be
clarify?
174 and 175. The agenda was out, you corrected my agenda, but
Oh, I didn't, oh.
you didn't send out an updated agenda.
Just wanted to clarify. If you have the
Yeah,
correct, that's
so
fine.
they're, okay, so they're right, actually, they're right in an updated agenda. I don't know, is this what was posted?
That was what was posted, yeah.
Okay,
I-
so-
Yep,
So they are 170,
12174 would be the state
No.
road one.
so, and not 172,
That
so,
would, that
okay.
would, should be 174.
So the agendas are posted wrong, but it's Council Paper 12,174 is the first one, and Council Paper 12,175 is the second one,
So on.
and so on. Any other questions? This is a roll call vote.
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
yes,
Obasahan,
Yes.
Oleskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
Blackmer.
Yes. Council Paper 12,176, Mayor's Communication 98, requesting time for Jim Holmes to publicly recognize members of the North Adams Police Department. Without objection, I'll file the communication. Mayor?
President Blackmer, I'd like to ask Mr. Holmes to join me at the podium. Chief Whip?
Hello, Jim Holmes, 94 North Street. Lynn Riley, when I began my teaching career, said to me, "You never know what kind of teacher you don't want to be, but you should know the kind of teacher you want to be." In my 20 years of teaching, I thought it was important to students and their families that the police department interact with them and get to know them on a basis other than a police call for this, a police call for that. And in my 20 years, I worked hand in hand with many of these officers on many different occasions. For instance, years ago, they did at Brayton School, they did a internet safety program. 2 officers did that. Officers always showed up at the dances at the schools when we put them on at Conti Middle School and Sullivan School and Brayton School. Many of the officers did Dr. Seuss readings in the classroom with the kids. And not just in my room, they did it in rooms with other classrooms and other kids. Many of these officers came into my classroom and did hands-on labs as I taught science for many years, all my career. Then the police department came up with a Running with the Law program. Students came out on Saturdays and spent an hour running around downtown with the officers. The only requirement they had to do is the students had to speak to everybody that they ran by, and they did. No matter how many people, we ran into the banks and the holidays, we went into the banks and sang Christmas carols, we went into Big Y Supermarket and interacted with all these people. They did that. I went along because I enjoyed it as much as they did. Then they came up with a Running with the Law road race. This department raised about $4,800 and turned that money over to Pop Cares in North Adams. So they were helpful in that way. These are things that folks don't always see. I am happy that I've been in on the ground floor with this. Many of these officers also were involved in my science fair, and they would be judges and they would come in and actually work with the kids on science fair projects on their own time, all this on their own time. The mayor did tell me to keep this under 2 hours, so I'm doing good so far. Many times I've seen these officers down at Farmers Market, right down in North Adams. They just park their cruiser, walk around and talk to people, which you can't put a price on that. It's good for folks to just see that they're interacting with everyone. I then came up with a forensics program, and for 13 weeks and then 26 weeks, I had officers in once a week, and we conducted a complete program. We sometimes started off with a murder, sometimes we started off with a hostage situation. We had officers come in with their drug-sniffing dogs. We had a whole court case. These officers were there every single step of the way and never batted an eyelash. They never said anything except, what do you want us to do next week? And we are down now to a 100-year-old woman, and I don't know how many 100-year-old people there are in North Adams. These officers so kind-heartedly came down, danced with her, and spent a little time with her. And that means the world to me. So I called the governor's office and asked them. I explained every single thing that they did, which was merely just being with this 100-year-old woman. And they sent citations out for these officers. And I'm very proud of them. And even though I'm retired now, I still try to stay in touch with these wonderful folks. So without further ado, Lieutenant Anthony Beverly. Thank you.
Chief, Madam Mayor.
Sergeant Preston Kelly. Officer Kelly Wisnowski. Officer Matthew Moranti. Officer Alon Willing. And I will say, Detective Sergeant Brad Vivori could not be here tonight because he's doing something, and Officer Stephanie Moranti could not be here also, so they were also part of it. I thank you very much for your time, and thank you, officers, for being so amazing.
Thank you. Do we want to give everybody a second to get out, or do they want to watch the rest of the sausage being made?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Council Paper 12,177, an order calling the state general election for November 8th, 2022. Motion to adopt would be in order.
So moved?
Second.
Counselor Shade, Counselor Leskowitz. Discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
Yes.
Obasahan,
Yes.
Leskowitz,
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
and Blackmer.
Yes. 9 yeas, motion carries. We now have licenses. Okay, what is that noise?
It's Mr. Wilkinson's hearing aids. Mr. Wilson, sorry.
Oh,
No. It's not.
Mr. Carter, okay.
It's not. It's,
Okay.
It's
I
Eric's.
just want to make sure somebody doesn't have their phone on.
No.
So an application submitted by Kelsey St. Pierre to be granted a license to drive a taxi cab for OTT Taxi. A motion to approve would be in order.
Motion to approve. Oh.
Second.
Discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
Yes.
Obasahan,
Yes.
Oleskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
and Blackmer.
Yes, motion carries. An application submitted by this one, by Edward Lacoste to be granted a license to drive a taxi cab for OTT Taxi. A motion to approve would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Counselor Basahan?
Second.
Counselor Wilkinson? Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Barbo,
Yes.
Bona,
Yes.
Harpen,
Yes.
Obasahan,
Yes.
Oleskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza,
Yes.
Shade,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
and Blackmer.
Yes. 9 yeas, motion carries. Open forum, anyone wishing to address the council on issues of municipal significance. You have 2 minutes, no personal attacks. Name and address for the record. Go ahead.
Robert Smith. I still live at 163 North Street. I want to ask what's going on. We had a burnt out building, a bad fire up at the corner of Brooklyn Street and Hogan, I believe. I know it's privately owned, but is there anything going on with contacting these people so we can get that building torn down?
Yes.
I hope
Mr.
so.
Smith, I just
because-
want to verify these are to bring it to details, questions to us, but not answers. It's
I
not
don't
on the
understand
agenda,
what
so
you
we
said.
can't deliberate.
What did you say?
It's for you to mention the issue, and then somebody will follow up. It's not to have a conversation and ask about it, because it's not a deliberation.
Well, I thought that, I'm trying to address the administration in our government.
Right, but we have to post an agenda, and we're not supposed to talk about things that are on the agenda. That's why you bring it up,
But this
and
is
the mayor
open-
will follow up. There shouldn't be
Excuse
a
me.
back and forth.
Excuse me, President, this is open forum.
It
and
is
I thought-
open forum to bring the issue up. There will not be responses unless there is legal or misinformation, because it's not on the
Okay.
agenda to be discussed.
All right, that's fine, but I just want to put it out there, and I want it out there, and so the general public is aware of what's going on or what's not going on. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can also, if you want to talk to the administration or any counselor, all of our information is available. Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Mr. Cardamino.
Robert Cardamino, 173 East Quincy Street. I see that the city's going to get some stimulus money from the federal government. And Mass MoCA wants to be our partner under the guise that they want to bring visitors to our Main Street and have access. Well, where have they been for the last 20 years? They have taken away from Main Street the lawyers, restaurants, gift shops, brewery, and living quarters in Mass MoCA. They see $1 billion, and they want most of it. And they just being greedy. They pay little in taxes, yet they enjoy water, sewer, police protection, fire protection, street lightings at no cost. Mayor, spend this money on replacement of water pipes and fire and police station. And if the Mocha wants to be partners with North Adams. Let them put their money where their mouth is. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council on issues of municipal significance? Seeing none, I declare open forum closed. Mayor, no updates, right?
No, not today.
Thank you. Committee reports and minutes. Liaison updates and councilors' concerns. Counselor Shade, then Counselor Sapienza.
No, I just says, I didn't know if you saw Counselor Shade, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I just wanted to update everybody. The IDEA Commission will be meeting again tomorrow. We'll be finalizing a date for the second session, and we will get that out to you as soon as we know. Things have kind of been pushed off on our timetable, but we are looking to hold that second session probably either at the end of this month or the first week of November. But we will get more information out after the meeting tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to say that we had a great parade on Sunday for everybody who marched, participated. We had some great floats, some really creative events going on, and it's glad to have things going on in the city and finally be back to a post-COVID normal. We had a good turnout, weather was perfect. And I guess that's all I have to add. Anything else? A motion to adjourn would be in order.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Counselor Wilkinson, Counselor Oleskowitz, Counselor Wilkinson. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Oh, I do want to, never mind. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.